Hi, this is your math coach, Howie Tutman, presenting What Math Should My First Grader Know? I've recorded videos in the four domains or groupings of standards in math for first grade. This video is the fifth of five videos in the measurement and data grouping. The video is about identifying the values of US coins. If you have any questions or comments, please email me at hrtutman@gmail.com. The complete text of the standard that this video is based upon follows at the end of the video. Many states have one more standard in the measurement and data domain, and that is doing some work with money, specifically with US coins. The exact wording for this standard varies from state to state, but most include being able to name coins, know their value, explain how many pennies are equal to that value, and to use the appropriate notations. So we'll look at the most popular US coins. We would expect our first graders to be able to identify, to be able to name these coins so that they would know that this is a quarter, dime, nickel, and penny. Or for you to say, show me a dime, show me a nickel, so that they become familiar with these coins. Also, we would want them to be knowing that the quarter is worth 25 cents, the dime 10 cents, the nickel 5 cents, and the penny 1 cent. And also to be able to use the appropriate notation so that they know that this symbol here represents cents and that we would be placing this after the numerical amount. So 25 cents would be written as 25 and then the cent notation. We'd also want the first graders to know the relative value of the coins so that, for instance, the quarter is greater than the dime. In other words, the quarter has more value. The dime has more value than the nickel. The dime also has more value than the penny. So we'd want them to understand the relative value. Now, this may be difficult at first for some students because they may just be looking at the relative size of the coins, and they might be looking at the dime being the smallest in size, and at first not understanding that the dime is actually worth more than the nickel or worth more than the penny. So we also want them to understand that if they were to convert these coins to pennies, how many pennies each would be worth. So for instance, the dime is worth 10 cents, but that also means that the dime is worth 10 pennies. So we would want them to know that. The nickel, that's worth 5 cents, but it's also worth 5 pennies. The penny is worth 1 cent, which is just the 1 penny. And finally, we have the quarter, and the quarter is worth 25 pennies. So these are just some of the basics of what first graders may be required to know about US coins. Some teachers may go a bit further and extend their teachings of this topic. If you're interested, here is a sample standard that this video, identifying the values of US coins, is based upon. Identify the values of all US coins and know their comparative values. For example, a dime is of greater value than a nickel. Find equivalent values. For example, a nickel is equivalent to 5 pennies. Use appropriate notation. For example, 69 cents. Use the values of coins in the solutions of problems.